heard the perfect talk from my colleague Andrei, and he told you that you can choose your own path, and he made some perfect examples of paths that you can choose. If you work with us in grid dynamics, for example. And now I would like to make some example of the paths you can choose and talk you about analytical way, about that second item from his list. And today I will talk you one interesting story from my previous project, and will describe you how we collected the data for the stub, how we imagined and collected the users to test. But before we'll speak about it, as always, a pair of words about me. Now I'm a QE lead in grid dynamics, and I'm in QE from 2002 and in IT from 2001. My first year was technical writing, and then I switched to QE. And currently I'm working for different e-commerce projects in grid dynamics. So all the examples will be from commerce. What is the talk about and what it is not about? Since we have a lot of programmers here, probably, and DevOps, because we have around 10 QEs, as far as I saw. We will not talk about how to write stub, how to use var-mock, and what library is better and what library is not better. We will talk about how to collect data. We will go step by step from test data preparation to the result, to the resolving of our problem. And we will say a pair of words what to do with all that stub data when the module we stubbed will be ready. Okay, guys, who doesn't know what stub is? Everybody knows.
Don't be shy.
Okay, who knows what stub is? 1, 2. Okay. So, actually, I have no special slide to explain you what is stub, so I will maybe draw here on the whiteboard. Andrei asked me why I need pens. That's why. So, imagine our application. Let it be some house made of bricks. Let it be some fortress, for example. And with flag over here, some country. Serbia, Russia, America, anyway. And this is our software, our application. We have an integration with some other application or some other module. And let it be other fortress here. And in this fortress, some other kin is living. And we are friends with this kin. And we have some road under the ground from here to here. This is for safety. When some enemies are here with guns and they wants to be here in your fortress, the king can go there and here by this road. Okay, this is the ideal situation. We have two applications or two modules that are integrated some way by this road. And now, let's imagine that we haven't this fortress at all. We have only this way. And this part of our application is not ready. It is maybe built in some way. We have 2 or 3 bricks here, but it is not ready at all. And we want to test the integration between this module and this. But this module is absent. We haven't it yet. But we need to test the integration. And in this case, we need the stub. The stub is a module that imitates the functionality of not ready module. And we can put stub here and test the integration. And the reaction of the stub should be the same, like the ready model will have. Is it clear, guys? Okay, so now everybody knows what stub is, okay? So let's continue our talk from this. About this fortress, about our application that is ready. And for this application, we want to test the integration with some other. Let's imagine the e-commerce system, e-shop. In this e-shop, we can buy jeans, we can buy bags, we can buy pants, bottles, anything. And it is already on production. It is already working. And we already have a team in Grid Dynamics that is working. Yes, that is working for this application. Everything is okay. The application is covered with a lot of tests, and this is the case answering to your question. This is the case when we are working both on UI and services on one project. We have about 3,500 automated tests for API and 1,500 automated tests for UI. And everything is working well. We have nightly builds on Jenkins, nightly jobs, and we can collect the results. We have some monthly releases to production, and everything is perfect. But one day, customers gone to us and said, guys, please, we should implement a new functionality, the loyalty program. For example, you can buy some pair of jeans in our shop, and then another pair of jeans, another pair of jeans, and when you will buy 5 pairs of jeans, you will get the coupon. For what? To buy another pair of jeans, because 5 pairs of jeans is not enough. This is our loyalty program, simply saying. A little bit more complicated, but this is the sense of our loyalty program. Okay, it is still okay, but all the information about these points, about the orders with jeans or without jeans, about the users who are managing with this loyalty program should be saved in another module, in another database. So we have some database with this information, and we should have some module that will be communicating with this database and should return the results to this our application. And everything is still okay. With one exception. We have no this module at all, but we should test the integration with it now. So we have this decision, the stub, and our purpose from now is to prepare the data, is to decide what should we test. Some guys, some developers are writing that stub while we are collecting the data. And to make it maybe more understandable, what is it? We have our web application, some UI, and under this UI we have some REST API services, our REST API services inside our application. And that API services are sending requests to this not ready third-party application REST API that should communicate with database and back. For example, reading user properties, we have some service like get users with user ID, and we should send this request to third-party application and get the response in JSON. Like this. This is our stub. It was like that robot, but it worked. Okay, we have the problem to resolve. We should imagine what should we test and what data do we need. And from this point, we are choosing our analytical path from QE to analytical. We could get back then after this preparing data, but this is our analytical way. What steps do we have? Firstly, we should define the scope. What will be tested? What should we collect? What data should we collect to test everything for this stuff? Then define the combinations of users' parameters. Then create the list of users we have. And then create stub pairs, tests, and get the result finally. Update our everyday run. Do you remember we have 3,500 API tests and 1,500 UI tests, and all our integration should be integrated as well to this run, to this nightly Jenkins run. So let's go step by step. Define the scope. I know that you see nothing from this slide, but this is not for you to get the information, but to get the scope we had. We are managing the users with their orders, with their different parameters. Our orders could be sent to US shop, to Canada shop, to international shop. Our users could pay with credit cards, with PayPal, with some other payment method. The account of the user could be active or inactive, and so on and so on. And our purpose is to cover all that with tests. And we should cover as well, we should cover errors. Because our third-party applications, as you can guess probably, even if it will be ready, it could be down anytime, and it could send us an error instead of response. And we should test that errors and how that errors should be shown on UI. We should test it, so we should collect the data for errors. What we decided on step 2. We collect all the possible parameters of users that are creating orders for our application, and make that big list. On this slide you see only a part of this list. And we have a lot of such parameters. This is out of scope of the talk, but I can tell you that we used very interesting technology that is called pairwise testing, to make our list of combinations less. If you are interested in that, I can tell you in the break or after. Pairwise testing. Pairwise, yes. It is a special algorithm that provides you the possibility to decrease the number of combinations of parameters. And what did we have after this step 2? Step 3. We had the list of possible users. And that will be the special users for the stub. What kind of technology we usually use when we are using stub? We send some defined parameters to the stub. For example, please stub, give me information about this user. And we know that this user, for example, have such first name, last name with maximal or minimal length. This user is from US. He paid with Visa credit card. He bought jeans. And today he's 18 years old. Why is that important? You have a GDPR here, yes? And according to this rule, to the GDPR, if user, for our application, if the user is a kid, he cannot participate in loyalty program. He cannot have an account. So it is important. And we can ask the stub to give us the information about every user. And we are expecting that we will get this information. And then, why do we need this? And then we can check on the UI that everything is shown well. And all the responses from our services are going well. How does it look like? Maybe not very quality slide, but okay. This is a request. We use the varmock for those who knows what is it. This is a request in JSON, and in this request we wrote get orders, for example, for some user, and if the stub see that we are asking something for the email that contains that line, user1@gmail.com, the stub knows that we are asking for the information for that user, and the stub answering us with the response, that defined response. In this response in JSON we have some successful status and the list of orders for this user. This is not a real user. Again, this is like a model. Our stub is a model, and this is a model of user. The user who created 2 orders with such order dates and such customer ID. And that model provides us the possibility to test all that for our services and our UI. That was the step 4. The next step. On the next step, we already have the model and we have the core for the stub. But our purpose was not to create a core. Our purpose was to create tests, to create automation for all that. And now we can use this stub, finally. This is the example, not real example, but it looked like that. We used the BDD approach, behavioral driven development, and this is the example from gbehave on Gherkin. This is a special language where you can use some real language to define the steps for the scenario. And what are we seeing here? We think that we are doing the first step when customer logs in as such user from the stub pair from the previous slide, you remember? User1 gmail.com. And then we are asking for the order, we are asking stub for the order. And we are expecting that stub are returning us that list. And our services are processing this list correctly. And we can create the same for the UI. So the stub is returning these results to our services. Our services are processing these results some way, like the services got the result from the real application. And then can give the result to the UI. And we can test all that from the point of view of our services and from the point of view of our UI. And this is our test. And again, step 6. Now, how to integrate all that stub tests into our suite. We have that huge amount of tests already that are on Jenkins, that are in nightly builds. And we use the system of meta tags for it. Meta tag stub means that this test is to be run only for stub. And some tag here, environment for stub, but we had some defined name, of course, but I will not say you because this is unsecure. Environment for stub. It says that this is a test for special environment in some cloud and only for stub. And this way we can divide our regular tests from the test for stub. And we can create a special Jenkins or Bamboo job and include it to our pipeline, and this job will be run every night for the stub. Okay, on this stage, on this step, what do we have? We have a stub, we have not ready application, and we have stub tests that are included to our everyday run. But what should we do when the application will be ready? We will not go to production with the stub, of course. We will wait the application to be ready, and then we should test all that with our tests, both stub and the application. Why do we need the stub on this stage when the application is ready? We have some tricky cases. For example, some long orders that are hard to cover with tests. That will be tests for them will go very slow, for example. And for the tricky cases, we are still using stub. Some error cases. Okay, the error number 404 is easily to repeat, but we had a huge set of different errors that this third-party application can send us. And for it, we still using stub because it is very easy to imitate these errors with stub. So we are still using stub for tricky cases and for errors, and we can rewrite our stub tests and use them for the test for real application. For example, we can create some users in the real application, the same user that we had in stub, and continue to use it. Or we can easily rewrite our tests and instead user logs in, we can create the user, and all the other steps stay the same. And this stage actually our result that we wanted to have at the beginning. We tested the integration. We didn't wait when the application will be ready, and we cover all that with tests, and now we can easily rewrite all that for the real application. And every service with testing, error cases has been covered, and job was created, and we can continue use our tests for stub if we want to. And guys, this is the time for questions. No questions? Everything is yeah, we have one.
I just would like to ask a question about the stubs a little bit more. First of all, how did you create these stubs? Did you use any specific tools, or developers created that for you, or just how that goes?
Yeah. Okay, we use the VireMock. This is the special library that could be used in Java. And yes, we have a special developer who was creating only the stuff, and it was his everyday job to create the stuff and to help us. And for example, if we needed to create some new stuff there, some new user, for example, customer decided to change some functionality. We had an agile, and for agile it is really everyday situation. When something is changed or added on something, we can go to the programmer and say, buddy, please create this guy for us. This guy should have such username, such first and last name, it should be not kid, and it should make such order between these dates. And he said, okay, it will be ready in an hour, but not in an hour, maybe the next day. We had this user, and we can create the test for him. Yeah, I answered? Yeah.
Thank you. So, is it possible to further develop this stuff so that you can maybe reuse it at a later date? For instance, if the application, I don't know, has some major bugs or issues, crashes, so that in the meantime, while you're fixing the application, you can basically use the application, use the functionality of the stuff. Thank you.
Actually, yes. Especially if we have some defect connected with errors from the third-party application, or we can repeat some situation from the customer, and it sometimes could be repeated easily with stub, more easy than with real application. And we can use stub for it, for example, to check the UI. Yeah, thank you for the question. Any others? Okay, so thank you for your attention, and you're the magic.